All right, let's talk about it. It's probably the biggest conversation happening in the creative world right now. UX design and artificial intelligence. It's this weird mix of total excitement and, let's be honest, a whole lot of anxiety. And it's raising some pretty urgent questions.
So let's just cut straight to the chase, right? This is the question. It's the one that pops into your head late at night. Are all the skills you've worked so hard to build about to be made obsolete by an algorithm? It's a fear that feels incredibly real right now.
And look, this isn't just some vague, far-off fear. It's happening. You hear stories like this one about a founder who just swapped out 2 junior designers for a couple of AI subscriptions. When you hear that, the anxiety doesn't just feel real, it feels completely justified. But is that the whole picture?
Okay, so let's take a deep breath. To get past the scary headlines and the anecdotes, we've got to look at the actual facts. We need to see what the data says about where the UX field is really going.
Because you know what? The data tells a very, very different story. And frankly, it's a much more optimistic one.
And this is where it gets interesting. The data completely flips that whole robot replacement narrative on its head. We're not seeing a collapse, not at all. In fact, projection shows solid job growth for designers. We're talking 7 to 8% over the next 10 years. That's thousands and thousands of new jobs every year.
And it's not just about the number of jobs, it's the value of the entire industry. The global market for what we do is set to absolutely explode. We're looking at a jump from under $5 billion to almost $55 billion by 2032. That's just massive.
All right, so the industry is booming. But what about your paycheck? Well, that's holding strong too. The median salary for a UX designer in the US is still sitting comfortably over 6 figures. So the data is pretty clear. The field is healthy, it's growing, and it's still paying well.
So wait a minute. If the jobs are growing, the industry is booming, and the pay is stable, then where is all this fear coming from? What is the real risk here? Because there is one. It's just probably not the one you're thinking of.
And this is it. This is the single most important takeaway from our whole chat today. The real threat isn't the machine. It's the designer sitting next to you who has figured out how to use the machine to become faster, smarter, and more valuable. That's your competition.
You gotta think of it like a new division of labor. AI is an absolute beast at the grunt work, automating repetitive tasks, crunching massive amounts of data, spitting out first drafts in seconds. But what can't it do? It can't feel empathy. It can't solve truly messy, complex human problems. It can't make tough ethical calls or provide real strategic vision. That's your territory. That's the human advantage.
Okay, so if collaboration is the name of the game, what does that actually look like in your day-to-day? What skills do you need to be working on like right now to not just survive, but actually thrive in this new world?
First up, let's get a sense of balance. Yeah, your hard skills, the craft of design, are still the bedrock. That's like 60 to 70% of your world. But that other 30 to 40%, the soft skills, strategy, communication, critical thinking, that slice of the pie has just become mission critical, absolutely non-negotiable.
So, skill number 1, you've got to speak the language of AI. And listen, this does not mean you need to become a data scientist or a coder. It just needs understanding the basics of generative AI and, more importantly, getting your hands dirty with the tools. Things like Claude for research or Framer AI for design. And you're in good company. A whopping 89% of designers are already saying AI makes their workflow better.
And I absolutely love this mindset for working with AI. It is perfect. Think of your AI tool as a super enthusiastic intern. It's brilliant. It's incredibly fast. It never gets tired. But it has zero life experience, no wisdom, no context. Your job is to be the manager, to guide it, to correct its mistakes, and to harness its power without letting it run wild.
All right, skill number 2 is all about doubling down on what makes you human. AI is great at crunching the what users clicked on, what path they took. But your job is to uncover the why. That means deep research, mastering the art of storytelling to sell your ideas, and understanding how your work actually moves the needle on business goals, like KPIs and ROI. AI can give you data, you provide the wisdom.
Okay, so this all sounds good in theory, right? But how do you actually start doing it? How do you start building these skills, not next year or next month, but like today?
Let's make it simple. Here's a 4-step action plan. Step 1, just start. Pick an AI tool and use it on a real project today. Don't wait. Step 2, change your portfolio. Don't just show the final pretty picture.
Show your process and specifically call out how you collaborated with AI. Step 3. Specialize. Become the go-to person for something specific, like accessibility or voice UI. And Step 4. Learn the language of business. Understand how your designs make the company money.
Because when you boil it all down, it really comes to a fork in the road. As we look ahead, there are two very, very different paths opening up for every single designer out there.
And just look at the difference here. By 2026, you're either one of these two people. The thriving designer works with AI, focuses on strategy, and sees twice as many interview callbacks. The struggling designer resists the tools, focuses only on the old craft skills, and is staring down a market where job postings for what they do have dropped by over 70%. The choice and the consequences could not be any clearer.
And if you need one last little push to get moving, just think about this concept, superintelligence. It's the point that some experts predict could happen as early as 2030, where AI's general intelligence actually surpasses our own. When that's on the horizon, lifelong learning stops being a nice little resume buzzword and becomes an absolute requirement for survival.
So the tech is here. The roadmap is clear. The future really does belong to the designers who choose to adapt. The only question left is, what are you going to do? Your move.